With the box office here, and we have a very slow week at the box office despite a major new release, and that is because it's Labor Day. Labor Day is typically a slow weekend for everybody, but the number one movie of the week is The Equalizer, which the movie has made $68 million. Will it be enough to make it money? Because the movie needs to make $101 million more to break even. Again, this movie has to compete with My Big Fat Greek Grey and Free, The Nun 2, and Expendables 4, and the Paw Patrol movie releasing this month. So either way, there's still a lot of movies and a lot of competition coming out as well. This movie also has a pretty scattered release date, but it's releasing in most markets on this week, except for Argentina, Brazil, Japan, and I think that's it. Not really many markets it's coming out in. So this movie is really going to have to depend on domestic legs like the previous movies. I think this movie could easily clear $100 million domestic. But yeah. Next is Barbie. The movie has made $1.381 billion. So this movie is going to probably pass $1.4 billion. This movie is basically slowing down. It's in its 7th week of release. But Barbie did pass the Mario Bros. Movie. And the difference between this movie and Mario Bros. Movie is this movie didn't really have any competition besides Oppenheimer, which most people put as a package deal, which is why Oppenheimer did so well. But you didn't really, besides that, you have the Meg, which made a decent chunk of money in the Turtles movie, and then afterwards, you didn't really have any major movies. Yeah, Blue Beetle was not a major movie, and Gran Turismo flopped. No one went to go see it, which is no one's surprise. So Barbie made $1.38 billion at the box office, and this movie is definitely gonna continue to make more money. Which Warner Bros. Deserves to have one W this year, because Warner Bros. Is taking nothing but L's this year. Okay, nothing but L's, like this movie, Blue Beetle. No one's going to see it, obviously. Even in Latin America, no one's going to go see it because people just have no interest in seeing this garbage. Blue Beetle. Even in Mexico, no one's going to see it. It made $5 million in Mexico. Okay. If you don't know how bad these numbers are, okay, it made $5 million now. We could compare it to the Meg 2 and Oppenheimer and Barbie, okay? And also we can compare this to Mario, which made $85 million. It is doing better than Dial. It actually is going to make more money than Dial of Destiny, which is pretty hilarious. But, considering there's actually more movies coming out, basically, like The Equalizer 3 is coming out. And I just don't see Blue Beetle making that much more money. In Mexico, I don't see it making. So it's doing similar to Shazam, Fury of the Gods. At the box office, the movie cost $120 million to make, but no one is going to go see it. The DC Extended Universe is basically dead. Okay, no one cares about the DC Extended Universe. Okay. Okay, it's doing worse than Shazam Fury. It's doing basically the same as Shazam Fury of the Gods now, which is pretty hilarious that movie's doing that bad in, Mexico, when the movie is about, their culture. But even then, no one wants to go see Blue Beetle. No one has any interest in seeing this domestically or internationally, And they'll blame the hurricane for this movie's failure, which is pretty hilarious as well. So, next is Gran Turismo. Yeah, no one is going to see this movie, surprisingly. I don't think anyone is too surprised by no interest in this movie. This movie needs to make like $150 million to break even, and no one cares, okay? This movie hasn't yet released in Italy and Japan and South Korea yet, so those three markets could turn this movie around. I just don't see it doing that all too much, which means just because something is based off a video game doesn't mean it'll make money, okay? Gran Turismo is still absolutely proof that movies will still flop if they're based off a video game. And I knew this movie was gonna flop because the movie isn't even about the games. It's about some guy who plays Gran Turismo. Like, you can't get more boring than that. Okay, you can't get more boring than that. Okay. Next is Oppenheimer, where this movie continues to make huge chunks of movies, money internationally. Okay. And it also has released in China and is doing really well now. But Oppenheimer continues to basically destroy the box office. You know, the only market it hasn't released in is the one country that banned this movie, and that was Japan, as well. It's also still making money in Korea and Italy, and it's making more money domestically as well. So overall, this movie is continuing to make money. It also is the highest grossing, will be the highest grossing seen BIPOC movie, the beating out Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, okay, the movie is now which is a pretty big achievement for Oppenheimer. Next is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So this movie continues to slowly march towards profitability. Again, this movie is very strange, okay? There's a movie about there's a scene in the movie about a cockroach and a rat kiss, okay? I don't want to see a movie with a cockroach and a rat kiss. I don't think anyone else wants to, okay? But apparently it might make enough money to break even. The international box office is doing pretty poorly for this movie. But it has yet to release in several markets still, like Korea and Australia and Japan. I don't think Japan really cares about the TMNT series all too much. Okay, I think this movie might end up being a failure because Turtles is really just an American thing. Okay, not international markets don't care all too much about this IP, which is pretty funny outside of the UK. And I think it'll do well in Australia, yeah, as well, and in New Zealand as well. Those are the two markets where I think it will make money. But outside of the English-speaking world, no one cares about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, no one cares about this series. Okay, I think it has common places like Mexico and France. But you can look at these numbers, like Spain. This is Spain, Russia. Like, no one cares about this IP outside of, United States and Canada. So, next is Bottoms. Never heard this movie before. No one's going to see it. Moving on as well. The Meg 2 continues to make money at the box office, making $335 million, for the proving that Rotten Tomatoes is not the end-all be-all for movies, I remember when they said, people only want to watch well-reviewed movies, and then they released the Meg, and this movie makes, $335 million. It might even march past $400 million at this point, but this movie has become a massive box office success as well. So the Meg has become a massive box office success. Well, I don't know if we get a Meg 3. I really hope Warner Bros. Does not risk making a Meg 3 because I don't think that movie will be able to make money, okay? Considering there will be a decline from Meg 2 to Meg 3. So yeah, next is Strays, okay? No one is going to see this movie. It's a flop. Moving on. Talk to Me. This movie has made a decent chunk of money for A24. So next is The Hill by Browcliff Entertainment. No one's going to see this movie either as well. Haunted Mansion has passed $100 million. Okay, we gotta congratulate. This is a movie that should be making bank at the box office, but again, Disney's brand is basically dead, so no one is, if it was 2019 Disney, this movie would have made $365 to $400 million globally, and it would have made money, but Disney's brand is dead. They went broke because they went woke, so Disney, really is, a dead company at this point. They're a dead company. We really seen the decline of Disney in real time. Next is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. This movie is a failure, which is funny because just remember, everybody and the dog was talking about how Tom Cruise is the last movie style, but no one's going to see this movie. Or at least people are going to see this movie, but they spend so much money on this movie that this is basically another Fast X scenario where they spend so much money on this movie that it's going to lose money. Okay? They've spent so much money on this movie that it's going to lose money. Simple as that. Okay? They really need to try to keep the budgets under control, not spend $300 million in a movie, expecting the movie to make $1 billion, and then it does not make $1 billion. And then there's like, ooh, you don't need movies that make these movies. Okay, you can't expect every single movie to make $1 billion. It's just that simple. Next is Elemental. Yes, Elemental is 22 million away from becoming a box office success. Yes, Elemental it's so close to becoming a box office success, becoming profitable. Okay, I know some people are saying, "Oh, it's 600, oh, it's 500 million." Okay, it's 2.5 times the budget. Okay, typically, so this movie is gonna make $500 million globally. If it does, Elemental could very well become a profitable movie, but I don't see it releasing anywhere else. Okay, it is basically dead in basically all markets. Okay, I see it making another $10 million, which is still very good, which means this movie will be a loss, essentially, and it will lose, several millions of dollars at the box office. And hopefully this movie, it's able to make back through streaming services as well. So, for once, Disney, it isn't a massive W, like, it isn't, this massively profitable movie, but Elemental is not an L. Okay, it is not an L, so Disney finally doesn't have to take an L like of Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones, and The Little Mermaid. Okay, those three movies, which still lost a ton of money. Little Mermaid lost 64 million. Dial Destiny and Haunted Mansion are huge, massive, colossal failures. And that's it about this video here. Goodbye.